Salute to you all. The brave never fall. We reached the apex, the top of the mountain with our last podcast. With the last episode, we really talked about being awoken and starting to dive into this new version of yourself that you have committed to, and the promise that you're making to yourself that you are going to be self-disciplined through this new process that you have before you. And this process that you have before you is something that it can easily be broken up into fragments and assembled in any which way you want, in any type of configuration that feels comfortable to you. Too often people look at the bigger picture. They're not looking at the smaller pieces that make up a whole. They look at the umbrella. They don't look at all of the stuff underneath the umbrella. It may be one umbrella, but the umbrella may be big enough to have a group of 10 people underneath it, if you get one big enough. So what we want to do now is take a second and observe and appreciate, which we did in the last podcast, everything that is you, and celebrate who you are. But now it's time to take another step, and that another step is moving forward, but we're going to go back down the mountain. You conquered that mountain. The mountain of being awakened. You have conquered that. If you made it to this point, you are over that hill. Now it's time for you to start descending this mountain, appreciating everything you did. The way down is going to be great. You get to reflect, retrospect. You get to take in all of the good feelings you had about accepting who you are and piecing together everything about you that is flawed and making sure that now you have all the tools in place to make sure every single flawed thing about you now is going to become an extremely positive part of your life, because you're going to overcome these things and you're accepting the fact that no matter what comes into your life, you are now overly prepared for it. You are ready. There are no more excuses. But as we descend the mountain, guess what's ahead of you? Another mountain. Look up. What do you see ahead of you? You shouldn't see a valley. If you promise yourself that you're going to recommit to a life of positivity, a drama-free life, a life full of peace and purpose, the only way you're going to get there is that you're going to have to look up and see that there's another mountain ahead of you, because there is no such thing as peace and purpose if you don't accept the fact that the peace and purpose starts with you, and that mountain in front of you is the inevitable challenge, the inevitable monster that you are going to have to face. You're not going to ever get to a point in life where there are no challenges. Whether there are self-imposed goals that you want to achieve, or whether there are challenges and struggles that are going to enter your life due to outside circumstances you have absolutely no control over. What you want to do is get yourself in a place where, regardless if it's your goals that you're working on, no matter how big they are, and I always say dream big, you're going to have an equal amount of obstacles to overcome that are going to be even bigger. The problem is with most people is they look at the problem side of it. People create problems in their life by being afraid of the mountains. They're afraid of the challenges. They're afraid of what it may reveal about themselves, not only to themselves, but to other people. Because even though you're working on yourself and you've gotten yourself to a place where you're woken, or you're awoken up to a whole new world of yourself, you've awakened to all these new possibilities of what you could be, there are still going to be things within you that will not be quiet, that just will not silence. It's time for you to find peace, because in order to go forward, it's one thing to be woke and know what to do. Now you have to start doing it. You have to start doing it. And you can't do it without a full commitment to who you are. A full 100%, 125%. I always say this. Stop thinking of things as numbers and time, and start thinking of things just in places you need to be. Moments. Why go for 100% as if 100, the number 100, is the highest you can go? You can go so much more. Why not go to 200, 300, 400, 10,000? Stop limiting yourself. Stop thinking like an insect. Start thinking like a person with infinite possibilities. Because when you start thinking, I just need to achieve my goal, don't look at it that way. Look at it as, I need to take that goal and punt it as far as I can kick it and keep going. I'm going to go get that goal, but I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm still looking forward. I can reach my goal, but the goal is not the end. Sorry, there is no end. Bruce Lee says it's okay to have a goal, but a goal is just something that you aim at. It doesn't matter if you get there or not. What's important is that you're aiming at the target, that you see where you need to go. Start with that. Start with that. Don't bury yourself in the idea of failure in an unobtainable goal that you've created in your mind. People create goals and then they give it a couple shots and then they say, maybe the goal was too big. And when people say that to me, maybe I was just biting off more than I can chew. I say to them all the time, the goal wasn't too big. Maybe it wasn't big enough because you don't want it bad enough. Maybe it seemed like it was too obtainable and you're bored with it. You don't see the really true life-changing things that goal could bring you. You're just looking at the superficial thing that I just want to lose some weight. I just want a new job, new house, new car, new girlfriend, boyfriend. I want a spouse. I want a dog, a cat. I want these things. But you're not thinking to yourself the ultimate versions of those things, the bigger versions of those things, what they actually mean in your life and why you want them in the first place. Do you want them just to want them? Or are they really bringing some value to your life? Because if they're not, you're wasting your time. If you're thinking in time, you are wasting it. And you're wasting your brain cells. Thinking about stuff that you really don't need. And once you get it, it's not going to fulfill you in any way, shape, or form. What you have to get to is a place where you are comfortable in your own skin enough to say, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm not going to put unnecessary pressure on myself to do it. I'm going to do it because I want to do it and I want to make it a positive, enjoyable experience. A positive, enjoyable experience. It doesn't mean that that's not going to be a hard experience. It doesn't mean that that's not going to be some experience that's going to push you to a point where you are going to get frustrated and tired. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to shed tears. You're going to hate the fact that you're bleeding. You're going to hate the fact that people are exiting your life because they don't understand or agree with anything that you're doing, because you're creating this new version of yourself that they never thought you could ever be, and still are doubting you while they're seeing the transformation. These are all tough things that are going to come. And they come after that commitment. When you start going down that mountain, after you reach the top, it starts then. Now the real work has to begin. We're descending the mountain thinking of one thing only: purpose. And a major tool you can have to seeing that purpose, if you're still teetering and you don't really quite know if that's something you want to do, the dream may seem too big, too small. The goal doesn't seem obtainable. Maybe it's too obtainable. You're feeling like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? All of that, you're creating noise. You're creating noise and you're creating chaos. In your heart, in your mind, in your body, in your soul, you are creating drama for yourself because you're worrying about something that you are in complete control of in the moment, but you're not living in the moment. You're already trying to place yourself in a goal, but you don't know how you can get there. Step back, calm down, take a deep breath, relax. Find peace in your purpose. The only way you're going to find peace in your purpose, you have to be in a complete, if you want to put a number again, 100% state of self-love and trust in yourself above anything else. You have to start making things focal points in your life. You start with self-love. The moment you start doubting your goal, you start losing your vision, your aim, those flags of hope we've talked about so much, when you start losing sight of those, you look down and you realize you're off path, you have to start making some adjustments. Your life is getting chaotic, and all that hard work you did before is suddenly starting to fade because you're not focused, you're not disciplined, You've lost self-control. You're going to lose self-respect for yourself. And you're definitely going to just evaporate any self-love you have for yourself at that point in time. It's a tidal wave. It's coming over and over and over again. It's going to knock you down. These things happen for a reason. Because the balance you have for yourself is what's going to make you do things you never thought you can do, because you are connected with your own body in a way where you feel strong in every aspect of your life. You're going to feel strong mentally and physically when you're balanced, and when your heart and your emotions are in check, and you have self-control, and your soul, you spiritually grounded with something that is going to keep your morals intact. So you're making the proper, correct decisions for yourself first, and then for others. You'll get to a place where you're going to accept the fact that every day is going to have its own unique challenges. There's no need to be angry or pissed off or mad or let your anxiety get to you. If you suffer from certain things, you need to go see a doctor. If you're having problems with your in relationships, you need to communicate. You got to start fixing these small things. These little things that start to creep up in your life: procrastination, selfishness, manipulation, things that you know are going to hold you back from being the person you need to be. They're in the way. They're causing chaos, distractions in your life. And they're doing that because you're not fixing the things that are going to be, for all intents and purposes, they're going to be things that are going to creep up back in your life, whether you like it or not. Because when you start moving into life and you start meeting new people and you're in new situations, bad habits tend to want to creep back up. It's inevitable. You're a human being. Bad habits will creep up and it will bite you right on your ass, right when you least expect it. And I always felt like whenever I had something bad happen to me, it's because it was a snowball effect. I would do one thing and I can almost trace it back to that one moment, and so many things would unfold in a short amount of time. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And then I realized, I had a lack of judgment in this scenario. I had a moment of weakness in this scenario. I didn't listen to someone in this scenario. I talked too much in this scenario when I should have been listening. I broke this person's heart. Those things were in you before, and they are definitely in you now because they're in your DNA. They're in your genes. That doesn't mean that's what you have to be, or that's who you will end up being. Because the great thing about all that is that you get to step back and say to yourself, I know I'm capable of doing those things, so I can fight against them ahead of time. If you're prone to be a person who's not assertive, you can change those things. If you put things off for too long, you're a procrastinator. If you're a person you feel like you manipulate people to get certain things that you want, these are things you know that you're capable of doing. Self-discipline, self-respect for yourself will eradicate those. They will go away faster than you can ever imagine when you're aware of it and you put into place a commitment to yourself, and you slow down and you get yourself at peace, and you can hear all these things happening within yourself. And it's a very good feeling to start putting things like that to peace. When you can silence certain areas of your life that you feel like are just these loud noises in the back of your head, reminding you of all the flawed things that are in your life that were in your past life or maybe growing within you, when you can silence those things and put them to peace, it's a great feeling because it opens up other things that apply to your purpose that you never knew were there. When you start silencing some of those weaknesses that you had, you realize that things that are strong start to blossom out of those voids that you opened up. In one area where you thought you were weak, now you're strong. In areas that you didn't even know you were weak in, now you're strong in areas you never thought you could ever be strong in. And it's a beautiful process, and I think it's an addicting process. It has like an intoxicating feel to it, because once you experience it, you start realizing you don't need distractions in life. You don't need to be with the person just because they're fun. You find fun within yourself. You can go out and have just as much fun in a complete day by yourself than you could with a group of people. That's a great feeling when you get up and say, I don't need anybody today. I'm good. I'm not an introvert. And maybe you are, but it doesn't matter because you're an individual and you're comfortable in your own skin. You say, this is my day Next week, maybe I will go hang out with those people if they bring value to my life and I bring something to offer to them. So that give and take we always talk about. But what's great about finding a purpose, because purpose is an incredible hard thing to find and piece together, especially nowadays where everybody is linked together and you can see on social media all these people with all these talents and these people with all this beauty and their perfect lives and their husband and wives and their cars and their houses. It's real easy to forget that these people are going through the exact same thing you're going through. The difference is if you look at things that people have that you want, you have to ask yourself, and sometimes you can even ask them, how did you get it? How did you get there? What didn't you do to get this? And what did you do to get this? And then you can start mirroring and understanding yourself. Do you have those qualities? What parts of their lives did you, if you talk to these people, or even things that you recognize without talking to them, what attributes do you share with these people? And if you share any amount of attributes with them, that means you're capable of doing the same thing. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. It's not easy to do. But I find that through repetition and getting into a routine and a pattern in your brain, that certain areas in your life have to be overcome one by one, a focal point, you'll find peace and you'll start finding strengths. You start facing your fears a hell of a lot more. You start accepting the fact that you are who you are and there's no other version of you that could be in this moment than the version you are now. Everything happens for a reason. But just because everything happens for a reason doesn't mean you should get complacent and start feeling like your life has already been written in stone. Take chances. Take risks. Be patient and understanding, not only with yourself, but with other people, with the situations that you're in, with the opportunities that are going to come, and definitely with your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. You have got to be patient, understanding with that. It's not something you can just write down in a script and it will unfold on the big screen at the movie theater. Perfect story. That's not how your life is going to go. It's not how your life is going to go. You can only write the parts that you know you can control. The rest of the story is out of your hands. Where you fit into this world is very valuable, especially when you know that you are valuable. Because what happens is that once you start feeling like you're valuable, I've said this a million times, the moment you're aware that you're valuable and you have self-love, you've already found a huge chunk of your purpose. Your purpose is you. You are the purpose. You are your own purpose. The moment you were born, you were full of purpose. My coach always says, you are on purpose. So you have to understand that when you're going through life, you have to be patient with it. That understanding with patience is something I push upon a lot of people. It's something I don't see a lot of it in people. It's just one of those things I think, especially today, maybe it is because of the age of social media. And I grew up, especially with these younger kids, and I sound old now, but with some of the younger kids that are in their 20s, I'm 40 years old at this point in time in this podcast. And I talk to a lot of people younger than me, even people in their early 30s. They just have no patience with anything, but especially with themselves. They want it right now. How can I lose 100 pounds in 4 weeks? And I'm looking at them like they're crazy. If you're going to do that, you better have millions of dollars to go get some operation done. Some people want to go they come into a workplace and want to go straight to the top without earning a damn thing. No patience or understanding about anything. They get into relationships. They want to go from, hey, how you doing, to being married in 5 minutes. Slow down. Take your time. Enjoy. Peace. Peace is joyful. Joy and peace go right together. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Once you find peace, you will find joy. And you will find the joy in everything. And you want to take your time in it. You ever spend time with someone that's just really important to you? And you love this person, you love spending time with them? Do you want that time to go fast or do you want it to slow down? Usually, if you really want to be with someone, you really love when that time just seems like it takes forever. You have those long, lazy Sundays together. You don't want time to speed up. Why are you fast tracking it? Because now you're forcing things. You want the clock to go by faster, which creates what? Chaos, unbalance. You're starting to make the other person get a little bit of anxiety because you're like, well, slow down. We got all day. What are you doing? Same with your job. You see people don't enjoy the process of just moving up the ladder and getting the praise from the people around them. But they get into this crazy state because they see, oh, if I get this position, then I get to have these days off and I get to make this much money and I get to be this person's boss and nobody gets to tell me what to do. I get to make my own schedule. And then these people get into this thing and you're looking at them, they look like the Tasmanian devil. It's just a chaotic, drama-filled mess. They usually end up not getting anything that they deserve out of that. Same with the relationship part. Usually end up getting discarded by the person because they don't want to deal with your over-eagerness. It comes off very needy and codependent. But that's a process I think everybody has to look into themselves and find that we're all capable of doing that. But I always tell people, enjoy the process. See how it works out, but enjoy each moment, each day. Don't look at too big of a chunk. And you'll find peace because you can just say, you know what, for what it's worth, this is awesome right now. And that's all it needs to be. I'm happy. I'm with purpose with what I want right now. And I get to hold on to it as long as I want. I can take whatever I want, my purpose right now, and hold it close to me and say, you know, you're mine. No matter what happens around me, my purpose is mine to hold, to be happy with. And I think if you apply that to other areas of your life, you will find similar traits in that, where you can say to yourself in anything that you do, where's the joy I can find in this particular thing that I'm doing? Where's the joy I can find in this particular relationship? What's the joy I can find, the happiness I can find in this next hour doing this workout? And you do that. You do that. If that joy means you don't want to talk to anyone, you want to be silent for an hour, that's your right. Do that. If your joy means you want to talk to people while you're working out and have loud music playing and you do some crazy stuff you've never done before, do that. If you're not happy, you shouldn't be doing it. Even when I'm doing the most hardest thing in the world, I found joy. When I'm running marathons, I have a big smile on my face. I love it. I eat it up. Hurts like hell. It's mentally taxing. But I love it. I have a big smile on my face because it brings me joy. I look forward to doing it. When I'm with someone special, I'm not miserable. My goal is to make this person happy, is to make this person have a great day, and is to make sure that this person can feel free while they're still connected with me. If I can do those things, not only am I bringing joy to myself, I'm bringing joy to someone else. That's called bringing value to someone's life. If you're miserable, full of drama, just a very unpeaceful person, a person who is just always living in fear and in darkness and pain and misery, you're angry all the time, no one is going to want to be around you. And there's no way you can find any semblance of joy or purpose out of that. And if that's what people want, that's their right to do it. That's their business. What other people are doing is none of your business. Worry about yourself first. And get yourself right. Get yourself to a place of peace and joy. And you'll be astonished and amazed how well a day will flow throughout each hour. Your day will unfold like a flower. And even when the bad, negative things start to creep up in your life, you'll realize, wow, that really wasn't even that bad. I'll deal with it. No big deal. I'm treating myself with respect, so whatever I'm going through, other people will treat me with respect. I'm not out of control. I have self-control, so whatever situation I'm in, other people see I'm in control, it makes them under control. That's what being an alpha is all about. Men, if you're listening, people want to know that they're safe around you, that you're not going to lose your shit. But you also have empathy. You can listen to other people and understand, I'm a leader. Don't worry about it. You don't have to say a word. I got this. When you're with your significant other, they don't want a little wimpy boy. They want someone who can stand up tall, have their shoulders back like a silverback gorilla, but also know that, do you need me to listen to you? What do you need from me today? How can I make you happy? Let's find a place where we can have some joy happening today instead of living in misery. Because you can't change anything. If there's something you can see on the horizon, especially a goal or something like that, or there's something that you want, a dream job, the person that you're super in love with, that car that you've been wanting for forever, that house that you just cannot seem to close on. All of these things can cause you misery, pain, anxiety, depression. But if you can think to yourself, do these things define me? Do they define my peace? Do they define my purpose? And do I really want these things this bad if I'm this unhappy with my thoughts and my feelings surrounding this situation? Do I really want it? Or is it just something that I think sounds good for my life that I wouldn't mind having in my life? You have to eliminate all that stuff. It always goes back to you. Because again, we're walking down this mountain now. We're woke. We're awakened. We know what we have to do. But now it's time to find that balance. Really, really tone down all the noise. Tune in to your balance and what your frequencies are, who you really are. And you have to listen. You need quiet. You need peace. You have to silence out all the noise, all of the distractions, all the toxic people. They should be gone now. If you're woke, they're gone. There shouldn't be any more toxic people right now. When you're walking back down the mountain after you've reached the apex, it's either you or the people who value you the most at your side. So it shouldn't be loud anymore. It shouldn't be chaotic, and it definitely should be drama-free. If that's not the case, you need to go back and figure out where you lost your path. Because when you look down, if any of those things are going on, you've fallen off of your path. You've lost sight of your purpose, and you are certainly not at peace. When you're going down that mountain after you've achieved a goal and it's time for you to take on the next challenges, it's time for you to look inwards and do a test. How much do you love yourself? How much respect do you have for yourself? How much self-control do you have? How much self-discipline do you have? Are you ready for the next challenge? Do you need to stop for a moment, take a breather, quiet all the noise out, and meditate? Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I do it often and daily. I can get going and the day will be just going by. And even if it's a great day and I'm trying to find joy in everything that I do, trying to make the right decisions, trying to help as many people as I can, but I also need time to take for myself, to recenter, balance, do a check. How at peace I am right now. And do I find myself in a joyful place with everything I do, especially with my purpose and who I am? And if the answer is no, then it's time to start breaking everything down into its smallest components and start figuring out one by one why that is. Now I can either choose to sit there and meditate and figure all that out in stasis sitting there, or I can get up and figure it out on the go. I would rather you proceed. Get up, go, start walking. It'll figure itself out. You just keep moving. And when you need to take that breather and sit back down and recenter and rebalance, do the self-love check, respect, control, discipline, you will find peace, because it's a peaceful event that happens because no one can take that away from you. Shutting out all the noise, all the toxic people, all the bad negative situations, all the horrible circumstances, all the goals you think you have failed at and you're going to fail at. Shut all that out. Find peace. Find that center of joy. Find that why. And get back on purpose. No one's going to do it for you. You have to start looking at the positives and not just focus on the negatives. The negatives are always going to be there. You want to turn those negatives, those weak negatives, into strong positives. And then once you do that, once those strong positives are obtained, you have to dive into self-discipline. Self-discipline, self-respect for yourself. You love yourself too much not to be disciplined, not to be in control of yourself, and not to have respect for yourself. That harmony you find will lead to a healthy balance of joy. And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. But only you can do it. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.